Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Five Boys in a Business, a podcast where we talk about the business, the family, and the many shenanigans involved. We typically are on most Mondays at 10:30. You can catch us on all of the podcast channels, iTunes, Spotify,
Google Podcast.
And so 10:30 is our usual time. We're running a little late here due to Richard. And so we're back on and ready to talk. Don't forget to check out asvcmerch.com if you want any ASVC merch. And we do not have a special guest this episode. Special guest missing.
Blank, fill in the blank.
We'll be back with another special guest, hopefully next Monday.
Right.
As we continue to iron out the guest list and the dates. So.
As well as the restrictions and all that stuff. So.
Yes, absolutely. So we're back and here talking about Father's Day because Father's Day was yesterday. So happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day to all those fathers out there who work tirelessly for their families and their children.
To be good men, good fathers.
To be good men.
Good role models.
Leaders.
Right.
Yes.
We do the best we possibly can.
So how was your Father's Day?
It was fantastic, actually. I got to sleep in a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. And how about that? It's good. Great day. I mean, the weather was a little cool. It's a little rainy. I got, the day before I went on a ride, trail ride for about an hour and a half. It's great. So, yeah, it was awesome. Can't complain. We had a wonderful dinner. Some fabulous lady made a wonderful dish, but then all her dishes are wonderful. So it was great.
Thanks to the Traeger.
Yeah. Team Traeger. Big Traeger fan.
Hashtag Team Traeger. Exactly so right.
We initiated another individual into the Traeger tribe this weekend.
Yes, so we added my father to the Traeger tribe.
Yep.
He has not gotten his Traeger yet because it's still not here yet. He will get it soon, and then he will be able to cook endlessly on the Traeger.
It's funny when we went to get it. We were at Ace Hardware, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, we have those in stock." And I said, "Okay, I'll take one." And then he comes back and goes, "It won't be here for 2 weeks." So a little bit of false hope, but
yep. So we're just waiting patiently.
Yeah, I think he's really gonna like it. The Traeger.
What is your favorite part about cooking on the Traeger?
The flavor for sure. The fact that it's really hard to burn your meat, and set it and forget it. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, you set the temp and it maintains temp, and I think that's the most challenging thing that we had grilling out. I had a Weber grill, one of the Genesis models, for years, and we used it a lot. And it was just something you had to constantly watch. You couldn't just leave it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because people who don't have a Traeger, or because we'll be like, "Oh my God, it's the best thing ever!" Like this and that, and it's so easy, and it produces consistent, reliable food. And people are like, "I don't think how could it be that good?" But until you get it and you use it, it revolutionizes how you cook. And I think that because I'm a big recipe person, follow recipes or whatever. And the recipes are reliable. Their recipes from their website are reliable. If you do what they say and you follow what they tell you to do, it's perfect every time. And I would say that the reviews on there are pretty accurate in terms of what I found. This could be better about the recipe, or this could be better, or this cooking time could be better. But it is so easy to use, and it's so consistent.
Yeah, I think I haven't messed around. We have several different flavors of the pellets, but I haven't really used them enough to be able to draw distinctions between them. I can't tell the difference between hickory or apple or.
Right.
I mean, I just haven't. We kind of mix and match so much.
Right.
Hickory mostly. That hickory mix is what we use mostly.
Right.
Because we cook mostly beef, chicken, some fish, not much.
Yeah.
But the flavor's fantastic. Our third boy Holden likes to make wings, and his wings are just the best.
Yeah, better than any restaurant wings.
Oh yeah, I mean better than anything. I mean they're cooked differently, but they're always soft. I mean the flavors are good. He makes 2 or 3 sauces that he uses to coat them in. But yeah, it's good. The ribs we have on there are great. The chickens, we made half chickens that are great. The one thing that I do notice over the Weber is, for whatever reason, it maintains moisture much better.
Yeah, it doesn't dry your stuff out.
It's maybe because it's all because the air circulates.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's not like you get that direct source of heat from underneath the meat. So it's great. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about it. we made bread this weekend, but we forgot to make any in the Traeger. I was going to see if you can do it. I just haven't. I'd be curious to see. I bet it really, really soaks up the smoke flavor.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially we made olive bread, and then you guys just made straight loaves, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, a big cooking weekend. But yeah, another product we used to make the bread, the KitchenAid mixer that I got you for Christmas this past year, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was great. So.
Yeah. So we're definitely tried and true Traeger.
Yeah.
So now we'll see if my dad uses it, and all of us girls and families got that from my dad. So we all went in on it, and we'll see if he uses it and invites us over for dinner.
Yeah, it's
that will be the true test.
I know. My only bad experience with the Traeger was, and it's not the Traeger's fault, it's probably operator error. On our older one, we had it, and we I'll never forget this. It's smoking so bad. It's like, it's on fire. Because it had pushed too many pellets. And you were like, is this supposed to be smoking that much? It's like, I don't think so. It's a little foggy and humid out here, but that's a lot of smoke. Then we had to take it from the deck through the house.
That was hilarious. Oh my God. Calvin was like, I don't know if it's supposed to, because it was on the porch. And so it had so much, but it was probably because we moved it. And when we moved it, some of the pellets just dropped down into the.
Yeah, that's probably what happened, to be honest.
And then it just lit a fire because there were so many pellets.
Yeah, I was thinking there weren't that many pellets in there. Too many pellets. But then we thought something was wrong with the thermometer, because the internal thermometer is what maintains the heat, the consistent temp.
Right.
But I ended up cleaning that, and it was fine. So it's and I've used it a few times since then.
That's what I wanted to be send out smoke signals to the neighbors going, nothing to see here, nothing to see.
The fire marshal shows up because we didn't put in for a permit. Not burning brush, it's just a Traeger.
Oh gosh.
But actually, even with that little bit of a snafu there, we ended up cooking those half chickens that night, and they were great.
Yum.
I mean, they were hit. They were gone. So
we had that happen. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what Dad thinks. Yeah. It's super easy to use. So
I love it. I mean, I would highly. Now it's interesting to watch the market too. How many other competitors have jumped into this? Weber now has their own pellet smokers, and Traeger has an interesting story. They were, I swear I read this. How they got started was they were making pellet. Not furnaces, but pellet heaters for the northern climates, like in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And boilers or something like that. Heating systems for homes. They were pellet driven. Like wood stoves, I think, something like that.
Right.
And they came upon the idea. They're like, well, wait a minute. What do we do in the off season? What do we do in the summer? So they created this product to complement their product line.
Yeah. So it took off.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah. So I love it. They're not cheap, but they're fantastic. So yeah, it's a really cool product. Love being on Team Traeger. It's the best. So great Father's Day. What?
Nothing.
No, great. Yeah. So anyway, moving back to Father's Day, great Father's Day. Absolutely fantastic. The weather was a little cooler than the day before, so it was good.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed your Father's Day.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah.
No, I don't know what.
So yeah, great Father's Day.
Okay, so do you want to hear about maybe we should talk about our experience with our own dog having surgery.
Oh, Pickles, yes.
So Pickles
had
is a 10-year-old female spayed English Labrador Retriever who had torn her cruciate ligament on.
I don't know when it happened.
God, 3 weeks ago maybe. And
do you remember it happening?
I remember holding exercising her, and I was like, God, that's not going to go well. And then the next day she was lame, and I was like,
she tore her cruciate.
Walk. Yeah.
Right.
And then she tore her cruciate. And so for all you pet owners out there who know that feeling, that's one of the more common causes for lameness in dogs as they get older. And I have insurance on all my dogs, which is kind of funny because I'm a veterinarian and people always think that's funny, I think. But each of them have a problem that I would not be able to fix. Or I think each of them as breed-specific dogs have or could develop a problem that I would not be able to fix. And the wrath of the children would not be good for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to carry insurance on all of them because each of them will have something happen that I won't be able to control or fix or treat.
Well, that's the whole point of insurance, though, right? Is to transfer that risk over.
Yeah.
I mean, to insure against the unforeseen,
So I use Trupanion, or we use Trupanion insurance on them. So because I knew Pickles was going to tear her cruciate at some point.
Right.
It was just a matter of when, as she got older, because she's a Labrador. So, and she did. Thought I was getting lucky because she was 10. I was like, ooh, I might have skipped past it.
Right.
And then no, my child decided to over-exercise a 10-year-old dog, and now she has the torn cruciate.
Well, I will say though, I mean, of all the dogs, maybe Lance, I don't know, but in terms of rehab and rest and recuperation, you couldn't ask for a better dog.
Oh yeah, she's a great patient.
She just hangs out.
So we had the surgery done by MedVet because in a dog over 50 pounds, the ideal procedure is a TPLO, which is a way of changing the shearing forces on the tibia so that then the joint is supported.
Right.
So we went ahead and had surgery, and most of them with the TPLO procedure, probably greater than 90% return to normal function.
That's good.
And so I'm hoping that she then recovers on that leg just in time for her to tear the other leg.
Right.
MedVet performed the procedure. Dr. Kate Fitzwater performed the procedure last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday, right?
It was.
No, Wednesday. It was Wednesday because she came home on Thursday.
Right.
So she's recovering right now. Holden's taking care of her, and she's doing great.
That's awesome.
So it was a good experience. I've been to MedVet with Wade. Is Wade's story out now?
Yeah, it is.
Wade's story is out and is currently at 1,000 views.
Wow.
Okay.
So Wade's surgery, Eric Hands performed that surgery. So we had that experience. But all of my experience really has been from a client perspective, like feedback from clients, working with them as colleagues, not necessarily from a client perspective. And so it was easy. They did a great job. The information they gave Holden at pickup was perfect. So I was really pleased with the experience.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
So,
Very good to hear.
Yeah. So she's in recovery. We'll let you know how it goes. As she gets out further, by 8 weeks, she should really be healing. She'd be healed walking.
How long does she have to stay confined like that? 8 weeks?
I mean, you're supposed to restrict their activity level because they plated, they cut her bone and then replated it to change the level of the tibial plateau. So
Got it.
It takes that long for that bone to heal.
Right.
So she can't overuse it. She needs to walk, but she can't, you shouldn't let her just go back to normal activity.
Right.
That won't go well. Dr. Fitzwater would yell at me then at that point.
Right.
So, I think, overall very happy with it.
That's good. Good.
So you were saying Wade's views
out.
are at 1,000 views, huh?
Organic.
That's a very cool story. So
Yeah, it is a cool story. You did a job. I mean, I thought it was shot very well. Put
if
together
you
very
haven't
well.
checked it out, where can they find it, Harrison?
You can find Wade's story on Facebook and YouTube. It's around 10.5 minutes long, but it has footage all the way from when Wade was a puppy. Now he's a full-grown chocolate lab. So he, you'll just have to go watch the video to hear about his story. But it turned out pretty well. I wish I knew the techniques I know now for filming, because I kind of hate myself for back then for filming the way I did,
how the kind of images
shot
you
it.
got and whatnot.
Otherwise, it turned out great. So it was cool looking back at all that footage.
So is that where can they? You said they can find it on YouTube.
Yes, you can find it on Facebook and YouTube.
Facebook and YouTube, and then is Harlow's story there too?
Harlow's story does not have a video, but you can hear about her
video
story
component,
on the
but you
website.
Okay, got it. Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really neat seeing Wade, because when he was a baby and then seeing him now as an adult dog,
Right.
and seeing how well he's done, how well Allie's done with him, is really neat. It's a neat story.
It's very good. Yeah, you did a really good job with that, buddy. So what else we have? Father's Day this past weekend. Traeger Tribe. Forgot about that. Do you want to talk about the mask stuff for cross country?
No, let's not talk about the masks.
Why? Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, because the masks for cross country have to do something with COVID. That made me think of what Maryville's doing for this next year.
Yeah.
So Maryville is a college near St. Louis, and that's where my fiance went to college for interior design, and her sister's also going there. And so with COVID happening and whatnot, her sister has been concerned about what's going to happen for the fall. And so she told us, because I was up in St. Louis visiting her family this weekend, and she said that Maryville is going back in the fall, but there are multiple precautions. They are cutting almost everything in half. They are, start the dormitories. They are only allowing one person in each room for the dormitories. So from what I can recall, one building is just they're not sharing with suite mates, but the other building is sharing with suite mates. So you have one person in one room, and then another person in the next building. They have one person in one room, and then sharing the suite with another person.
Wow.
And then the other building is going to be used as a quarantine building. So if a person was traveling, they come back to college or to Maryville, they have to stay in that building for at least, I think it might have been like 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay, wait, I have a question for you. Whether they test positive or not, they have to be quarantined?
I am not sure.
So no matter what, if you go home for Thanksgiving, you have to come back and hang out in this quarantine ward for 2 weeks?
I think they shut down at Thanksgiving. That's why I was saying.
Yeah, but you travel, you come
the
back.
poor colleges, people won't pay.
And watch the enrollment drop. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The freshmen, I bet they don't send their kids there.
And as far as classes go, there are it's going to be the regular class week, but they are having multiple formats. So you can either have 10 people all in the same class, like on a Thursday, but it has to be online, or you can have 5 people in one class and then 5 people in the same class, but it would be 5 people on Tuesday and 5 people on Thursday.
So it's 10 people. So okay, real quick question. So the maximum class size of 10 people.
I don't know if that's...
Yeah, but that's a small institution. I don't think that's unusual for them to have.
Small?
Yeah, I don't think that's unusual, isn't it, Harrison? I mean, I think it's a...
Maryville's a decently... I mean, it's
I never had a class of just 10 people.
Not until your upper classes.
Even then, I mean, even in business school, you had way more than 10 people.
Yeah.
20, 30. I mean, you could fill up a room. It was almost full because people had to take those classes. I mean, and that's not to mention the 500 people in a class, hundreds of people in a class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's why I say I don't know the specifics of this, but I don't know how you get away from the online model, which poses all kinds of challenges for why would I spend the money for this when I can go here and get it this way? I mean, if you're doing an online model, then why pay premium?
Right. Oh, no, I agree.
I mean, if you're paying for a brick and mortar experience, but yet you're getting the online model,
right,
you might as well just gravitate to the online model.
Sure.
The solely online model. And I think that's what you're going to see with these restrictions is that people are just kind of like, I'm not paying that for that. I'm not. I mean, not to mention the fear factor. I mean, because these models suggest, a lot of danger. So, I mean, why would you knowingly send your kid into, if you come back, you have to stick around, you have to stay in this building for 2 weeks.
Right.
It's like, just keep you home. Thanks. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, as a parent, I would think that. That would be the first thing I would think. It's like,
right,
if it's that dangerous, I'm not sending you there.
Right.
I mean, the question of whether or not it's that dangerous is a separate one. But I mean, if that's the way if that's the approach that they're taking to mitigate, then you have to ask yourself, do I want to really accept that risk that the mitigating, the methods are meant to address?
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And I think that's where a lot of these colleges, especially these private schools like that, the Websters, the Maryville, they're going to have trouble in the short term because of enrollment. I mean, they're still at the end of the day a business. I mean, money comes in, money goes out. You reduce one, you have to reduce the other. So what do? Because their model's built on a certain level of enrollment.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's tough. I think I
there's
think that's
so many institutions, and they're probably all going to be handling it differently or based upon their own school boards and things like that. And
I think it's. I mean, I think if one of the things that I've thought about during this whole thing, I think it's pulled a lot of things forward. It's hastened things that were probably already in the works. You hear about these brick and mortars filing bankruptcy, whether it's Macy's. I mean, that was going to happen anyway.
Right.
They just kind of pulled that. It just made it a little bit faster.
Right.
So, and as those business models change, I think that businesses were already, foot traffic heavy businesses were already looking toward a smaller footprint model. And I think that's just going to really pull that forward. And to the extent that decimates
any
commercial
of
real
the
estate.
any of the institutions, whether they're lower grades, upper grades, college grade, are really the only ones that are going to be severely affected are those that require payment. So like any institution that's you have to pay to go there,
So every college.
those are the ones, and grade schools and
Private schools, yeah.
private schools. I mean, those are the ones where you're going to see the biggest impact, because you're right. You don't, when you're in public school, it's you might be like, oh man, that really stinks. We're doing it this way, but it doesn't hurt you. Like
You're not paying a premium for the experience.
I mean, your tax dollars go to it, but other than that, I mean, and now that's a conversation that people are having. Like, well, if these children aren't in school, then do we really need to allocate all of these tax dollars to these public institutions? And if people aren't talking about it now, they will be talking about it. I really do think they probably will at some point.
I think if you go into the fall and they cling to the online model that they were doing before, I think that conversation it'll have to be had at some point, because as you look at this and there's no end date in sight, you go, when does this end? I mean, are we gonna do this in perpetuity? If I'm going to self-educate my child,
right?
Then
I wonder if all of the homeschool organization / curriculums / companies are probably like,
I'm sure they're getting just inundated.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even our own experience with our second grader. I mean, we looked at some of that stuff and we found a different model that fit his needs a little bit better. So I'm sure we can't be alone. I'm sure that other people are seeking out alternatives. And I think the greater thing is that if you say, for instance, I've seen numbers where 30 or 40% of people, parents that have gone through this and self-educated their kids, are now considering homeschool. I mean, what if you have a drop of 20 or 30% in enrollment in public school systems? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a head count game in a lot of those places. So what do you do? Then you'll have to make those further adjustments. I mean, what do you do if you see a drop in enrollment? So a lot of challenging times ahead, a lot of unknowns that'll have to be managed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because I think after July 1st, they open the schools up for activity, like sports things like that. And then I think they're going to push out the recommendations after that, maybe, for what Indiana, I don't know.
My guess is basically looking at some of the stuff that they're doing for the high schools. I think you'll have a phased in plan and some sort of return to normalcy within a finite period of time. I don't think they can do it where every kid wears masks all the time, every day. I don't know how you maintain that, because the schools are designed for close contact. I mean, I don't know how you keep a second grader in the room all day.
Yeah.
You don't let them go to recess. You don't let them go to the cafeteria. I mean, God help these teachers. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with them, because we have boys, and a lot of those classes are half boys. So what do you do with those goofballs running around? I mean,
Lord of the Flies.
Good Lord, I can't get Calvin to hardly do his math. 40 minutes to do 4 sheets. I'm like, every 2 seconds, Dad, did you know? I was like, I don't need to know anything. I need you to do that sheet. Got it? Now imagine managing 20 of those.
Calvin's funny, because it is every 3 seconds. He's like, because he's thinking about other things while he's doing the work, and so then he's like, did you know?
Did you know how good this waffle is? I'm sure it's quite good.
Did you know this life hack of does this? Have you seen the Skittles? Have you? Whatever. Can we do this? Can we build Play-Doh after this?
Can we make slime? No, definitely not.
Oh gosh.
Can we play kinetic sand outside? Maybe.
Yeah, poor Calvin, because we used that to our advantage, because once he moved to online learning, we're like, your school year never ends. I'm so sorry. He's like, he doesn't even know there's summer break, because we just kept going. We just kept going, do the model, and just kept the model going.
Can I tell you something? I'm trying with all I've got to teach that boy cursive. It is not happening. He sits there. I'll say, write W. There's one W right, and the rest is like scribble WW. It's like, what are we doing? It's repetition. You're supposed to do it the same way.
Yes.
Forget it. It's like, never mind.
No, he's learning it.
No, he is.
Time.
He's taking the Latin pretty well.
Yeah.
He did today, because we learned injuria, which means injury, and he goes, Dad, he points to pickles. He goes, injuria. I go, yeah, injuria. I was like, what can't she do?
Oh, God.
Can she ambulo? No, she can't.
No, she can't. That's
so
right.
Exactly. He's a riot. But he likes it. We learned nouns the other day, and he kept, everybody learns person, place, or thing. He keeps mixing it up. He keeps going place, person, thing. I was like, dude. Today we were talking about vowels and consonants, and I said, because that was part of the Latin lesson, and I said, what are the vowels? And he said, yeah. I said, and what are the, if it's not a vowel, what is it? And I had to teach him consonants, and then I kept coming back to it. Literally a minute later, I go, so if it's not a vowel, what is it? And he looked at me. We just learned it.
Oh gosh.
So he's a riot. It's
Lori Anderson says hi there.
Hey.
Hey, Lori, how are you?
Yeah. Well, it is. You've done a great job because you do most of it.
Yeah, it's a riot. He'll yeah.
So to do his reading, I had to come up with this new thing where he basically was in debt to me because he bought
gift
something.
card.
Oh, he wanted a gift card. And I said, okay, well, you can read 20 minutes every day. And at the end of so many days, you can have a gift card to PlayStation, a $20 gift card to PlayStation. And he's like, well, I'd like to have it now. And I said, well, if you have it now, then you're in debt to me. And do you know what that means? That means you owe me something. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just take the gift card now. And I'm like, so that means you have to sign a contract that says you're going to pay me 20 minutes of reading.
Then he stopped me there and goes, I'm not the age of majority. It's not bound by it. Thank you. I'll sign it.
And so he's got this contract written on the bulletin board. And every day I go, ooh. I like, like after dinner, I'm like, your contract. Did you meet your obligation with your contract? And it'll be like, oh, no. And so he goes and gets his book. And
my God. So last night, this is a window into our world, right? Calvin will go get food and take it to his room. I hear Emily upstairs last night. She's like, no more food in your room. She goes, will you come up here, please? That goofball had gotten an ice cream sandwich and put it on his dresser, and it had like melted, and then it dried.
It aired dry freezed or whatever. Reminded me of like astronaut ice cream.
So Emily's like, I don't know how we're gonna get that off. And I'm like, all right, let me get a plastic scraper. So I scrape it off and I clean it. And Calvin goes, can I have that scraper in case it happens again? I'm like, it ain't gonna happen again, Jack, because there ain't no more food up here, bud.
Oh my God, he's so funny.
He'll make Lunchables. I was like, the plate is not going to jump in the sink by itself. Take it downstairs.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, never a dull moment with that guy. And then he inhaled. What did he have this weekend? Like muffins. Like, he can't.
I can't buy them. I bought them because Luisa was coming over, his cousin, to play outside for, the afternoon on Saturday. And I was like, I'll buy them a special treat. And so we bought these muffins that,
it's just Calvin's special treat because he inhaled them all.
The prepackaged little mini muffins.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 in a carton or whatever. Yeah, well.
He just eats them all.
Yep.
One day recently I bought some, I was at CVS and I bought some Twix and some others for Emily. She likes sweets sometimes at night. And I went downstairs, the Twix bag is just gone.
Oh, yeah, tell them where we have to keep the chocolate.
In the gun safe.
In the gun safe.
You definitely ain't getting out of there. And he walks in here the other day, he walks over a screwdriver, he goes, I'm going to break into the safe. I was like, I don't think you are, buddy. Go ahead, keep trying. He goes, almost got it. Don't think you do, bud.
I mean, we've reverted to keeping it in the safe because
I have expected him to grab your stethoscope over there and put it on the safe and listen for the tumblers.
He really did. He grabbed a screwdriver and he was like, I'm going to break in the safe. And I was like, that's one place I know you can't get into.
It's like, I've been watching YouTube videos. Thanks a little more than that, buddy.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's where I have to put the chocolate so that he doesn't get it.
If you got a sweet tooth or somebody breaks in.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about him devouring the banana bread?
Oh, my God. Okay. So yesterday, Holden
He's
comes.
so sneaky and quiet.
Holden makes this loaf of banana chocolate chip bread.
Yes.
And we all tried. It was good. Holden was proud of himself. There was only maybe an inch of it gone. And then Holden comes back. We went somewhere. Oh, we went shopping. We came back, and Holden comes out. We were outside.
He's like, hey, did you guys
He goes, hey, did you guys where's
all my banana bread?
Where's the banana bread? I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, I mean, there's no way someone ate it all because it was too big. The loaf was too big.
Right.
So, and then we're like, you better go check Calvin's room and see what. So she comes down.
Wait, he wasn't in his room. He'd taken it to the basement.
So the basement. So he'd taken this thing. He's just been.
He had
mauled.
a fork in the. It was still in the.
It was like half
the loaf
gone.
pan, and he had the fork in the banana bread. He was like eating it like a tub of ice cream out of the.
Well, that's why you found the.
Remember,
Remember, you found the spoon in the cereal yesterday because clearly he didn't clean up the crime.
He does have supervision for all those people out there.
It's like a feral boy, feralboy.com.
He's just the youngest of 5 of them, so
he's just so quiet, and he
so
just goes,
quiet, and he'll do his own thing, and then, but you always know if he's being a little too quiet, or he hasn't come down to eat lunch. There's something's
very wrong.
Very wrong.
So yeah, but he so the banana bread bandit Calvin has become. So he has his moments. He's a riot. He keeps us on our toes.
But we just don't buy anything like that because it disappears. Like he can't not eat it. And what did he tell me the other day? He goes, my brain just says, eat all of them. Eat all of them. Go ahead and eat all of them. And he goes, I tried to tell my brain not to do it. But he goes, my brain said, just eat all of them. And I was like, you can't do that. Your stomach's going to hurt. He's like,
doesn't,
nope.
though.
Nope, it doesn't.
I'll never forget. I took him to Starbucks once, and I bought him a cookie, and he was little, and those cookies at Starbucks are big.
Yeah.
And I looked back there. I said, "Only eat half of it." Or whatever. I turned back, gone. So
Yeah.
he's just laying back there in a coma. It's like us eating one of those big pies,
Oh, goodness gracious.
So,
anyway,
yeah.
pretty funny. Pretty funny stuff.
It's never a dull moment, like I said.
Yep. Well,
Great weekend. So you have to roll, don't you? Yeah, you have to roll. So, yeah. That's what we have. That's what we have today from Five Boys in Business. What are you laughing at?
You're just funny.
So,
Harrison, do you have anything to add?
I'll just say I'm a lot like Calvin in his ways, as much as I don't like to admit it.
You think you are, huh?
Yeah.
Like which ways?
Not like in terms of eating stuff and telling my brain no.
Oh, you are.
Yes, because the
opposite way too. We could not get you to eat when you were little.
Let me give you an example, right? So Madeline just went to the store. Okay, mind you, me and my fiance, we just started living together. It's been probably about a few weeks now. We just bought a house. Anyway, she went to the grocery store. Okay, I tend to eat a lot of snacks. I just eat a lot in general, right? I eat chicken, ground beef. I eat a lot. Okay. And so Madeline, she's like, "Oh yeah, one bag of chips is gonna be fine for us. It's gonna be so great." She goes to the store, buys a bag of kettle cooked chips, and I down them all in like 2 days. And she's like, and I go up to St. Louis, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like I said, hey, I'm gonna have to go to the grocery store when I get back." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I ate all the chips." And she was like, "You ate all those chips?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, one, I'm hungry, and two, they put like half the chips in the actual bag.
Right.
Like they're just, you know what I mean? And so she was just getting all angry because she was like, 3 chicken breasts are enough for 2 weeks, and 1 pound of ground beef will do us. I'm like, for you, yeah, but for me, absolutely
Madeline.
not.
Welcome to my world.
So this is a true story. When Emily and I were married and moved to Granger, when she got out of vet school, I'll never forget going to the grocery store. She would send me to the grocery store with a list. I would come home with everything on the list, and she would say like if salsa was on there, she'd say, "Why didn't you buy chips?" I'm like, "Because it wasn't on the list." She goes, "Well, why didn't you buy?" I was like, "Okay, listen, I don't deviate from the list. If you want it, it needs to be on the list. I don't think we need it." So it's always interesting to see how people think differently.
Yeah.
I'm very linear. It's like we need this, whereas you're thinking more broadly.
Right.
Well, this will complement this. So
Right.
It's funny because she gets so mad at me because I buy in bulk, right? So like I just don't go buy one deodorant. Like if I run out of deodorant, I'm gonna be mad, right?
Right.
And I'm not just gonna go to the store that day and buy just another single stick of deodorant. I end up buying like 10 sticks of deodorant because it's
like, how dirty are you gonna be, buddy?
Because then I don't have to go back to the store. I buy 10 sticks of deodorant, like 5 things of shampoo, 3 things of body wash, all at the same time. So then I'm good for months, right?
Right.
And so recently I thought I ran out of like toothpaste and like body wash and whatnot, and I had to go to the store and I had to get body wash and stuff. She was like, "Hey, I got body wash and toothpaste for you, but you do know that I moved your stuff to the bottom of your sink, right?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't know that." She's like, "Yeah, you have 2 things of body wash down there already." I was like, "Oh."
Okay, real quick, that brings up a great point because this happens. People will straighten, and I'm like, all my stuff is right
here we go. Straighten. Your shit is never straightened everywhere.
It's like I can't find this pad anywhere, and it's been straightened, i.e. moved to where I'd never even think to look for it.
Oh yes, I know.
So
It's
it's just different ways people think.
It is.
I mean, I buy in bulk. I buy in bulk for food too because at some point, like I'll eat like all the kettle cooked chips in like a few days, but then I have another bag there waiting for me, so I don't have to go back to the store again.
Makes you feel good at your friend.
It's great.
Like a red Solo cup.
There you go.
And usually, like with chicken, I'll buy like 10 or 12 chicken breasts and just throw them in the freezer. It's great.
And then you always have
Well,
what
there
you
is some
need.
logic to that too. I think, especially in light of this whole situation, where there's a saying I picked up from a guy. He said 3 is 1, 2 is 2, 2 is 1, 1 is none.
Right.
Meaning that, I mean, if you have backup plans, it's always helpful. So,
Sure.
and some people, suggest you have at least a week's worth of food on hand. Who knows what could happen? But yeah, I think that's not a bad idea, and that's something we could probably all do better at, is making sure we have more supplies on hand, because you just don't know, especially things that are non-perishables.
Right.
And and for sure with the toilet paper and all that stuff, that's the runs on those paper products. Good God. So yeah, I still don't know how after all these months they still don't have toilet paper.
It's fascinating.
Before we go, speaking of toilet paper, I'll never forget at my old apartment, I ended up at I think I moved in when was it? In this January?
August.
It was January,
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
Carmel apartment?
You moved in at the beginning of the semester.
No, I'm talking about my Carmel apartment. And so I moved in in January, okay? And so I started working here. I get my first paycheck. I go and get groceries. I probably got at least 40 or 50 rolls of toilet paper, okay? I just stocked.
Good Lord.
I stocked a closet. It was my toilet paper closet, okay? That was and Madeline comes in. She's like, yeah, I ran out of toilet paper. And she's like, where's the toilet paper? I'm like, it's in the closet down there. She goes, opens up, and just down the hallway, she's like, oh my God. I'm like,
It's good. You'll be prepared, right?
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the family stories.
hold on. We have Becky Shoemake said LOL.
Yes.
Lisa Sidner said LOL. And Stephanie Cameron said, hi, guys. Love watching. Y'all are hilarious.
Well,
Great.
thank you. Thanks guys, for watching. And always feel free to contribute, and send questions and anything, topic lists, anything you'd like to hear us talk about. We're happy to.
Also, before we go, we are sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Keep trying to close.
Before we go, we are having new cameras coming in this week. The Five Boys in a Business podcast will be looking better, bigger, and better than ever. So I'm very, very excited to set those up and have some better quality podcasts coming your way.
I'm real excited to see him too. Real excited to see him.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. You can catch us every Monday around 10:30.
Wait, also,
You can catch us every Monday around 10:30, maybe 11 or 11:15, somewhere on a Monday.
Maybe.
Check us out, Five Boys in Business. Always can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and don't forget to check out asvcmerch.com. I'm Emily King, and
I'm Richie King.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.